Okay, this video is for docs who are giving their first national level lecture. The time you start planning your lecture is like this: when you're outside, or you're on the treadmill, or you're driving, and you're just free form. Think about the talk without being on the computer. First step, okay? So I just had a meeting yesterday with a med student, and I'm helping her with her first national level lecture. So it's so exciting. She has a really cool idea. I don't want to tell you yet, but she's going to present at AMWA. Super cool. Okay, so this video will give you 3 things on how to plan your lecture before you're at your computer, okay? Number 1, what if you presented it, if you organized it like it was a present? Like you presented it so clearly they could take it home that week and use a little tip that you told them each day of the next week. Right away it was actionable. What if you planned your presentation like a present, like a gift? Okay, so first step, take a blank piece of paper. Go ahead, get that out. If you want to know more, I have a membership for women docs called Fresh Path MD. And jump in there. We're going to do a masterclass on it. There's a free level, so if you're a student, you can jump in. I share professional development with a neuroscience flair for women docs. Okay. So first step, blank piece of paper. What's the gift you want to give them? What's the feeling you want them to leave with? Do you want them, like with the medical student we were saying, do you want them to feel empowered? You want them to feel informed? Do you want the audience to feel engaged? You want them to feel curious? Maybe it's a new topic they hadn't thought of before. Do you want them to feel interested? What is it? So think about that. How do you want to make them feel when they leave? That may be your first thing on the page. You want them to feel when they leave your lecture. Even just a little lighter, that they have some new tips, new tools, new strategies to use this week. That feels good, right? Being informed. Maybe that's it. You want them to be informed. Okay. Then we're going to talk about the Minto method. M-I-N-T-O. The sun's trying to come up here in Ohio. Okay, Minto method. M-I-N-T-O. Barbara Minto was or maybe is a business professor, and she shared her method to really make sure people leave your lectures well informed. Okay, so we're gonna do the Minto method. So, and I learned this from Scott Allen, a wonderful presenter, has his own business now, so look him up on LinkedIn. Scott Allen. Okay, he has a PhD. He was a professor at John Carroll University. Now he has his own business. Way to go, Scott. So he's taught me a lot, so I appreciate that. Okay, Minto method. So Barb Minto says, first, on your line of paper, you have that emotion up there. How do you want them to feel? And then, because most people won't remember what you said, they'll remember how you made them feel. Okay, and then next is, what do you want to tell them? You want to tell them, like I'm giving a lecture this weekend in Vegas on nutrition for the brain and body. And I'm going to tell them that nutrition is powerful and confusing. Because when things are confusing, we avoid them because they're confusing. We don't know how to approach it. So that's why also I'm doing this lecture. So organizing your lecture is not confusing. So what is your overarching theme? What do you want to tell them in this lecture? You can't tell them everything. You're going to be surprised how little you're going to tell them, but it's going to actually be memorable. So that's the beautiful thing. Okay, so Minto method, what are you going to tell them? Then you're allowed to have 3 data points to support that message. And then you can have 3 data points in each of the data points. So you can see, let's say I'm going to tell them nutrition's powerful. We know some things about the particular disease we're talking about, which is MS and NMOSD and MOG. We know some things about nutrition in those diseases. That's my number 2. So 1, 2, 3. And 3 is we need to keep it simple, or we just never approach it, right? We never decide what nutrition we want to do or what can be modified. Okay, so my theme, nutrition's powerful but confusing. My 3 points, number 1, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting. Number 1 is, nutrition is powerful. So that's like, nutrition is your building blocks. Nutrition, we have data on nutrition in these diseases. Some. We don't know everything, but we know some things. Number 3 is nutrition may modify your gut health and your epigenetics. So it may modify health in other ways as well. So that's our number 1. Nutrition's powerful but confusing. And it can support your health. Number 2, nutrition, we know a little, we know something. So I go over the studies, most recent studies on nutrition in these disease states. And number 3, keep it simple, because humans, we like things simple. It's very hard to change a human. We like things the same. So number 3 is keep it simple, okay? Then under each of those 3, you can give ABC, 3 data points. That's it. So a lot of people want to put all these charts and graphs, and they can't understand it that fast. It's not going to go in their brain. They're going to turn off because it's too complex. If they look at a slide and they can't understand it right away, they're going to go back to their phone, right? So we have to acknowledge just human attention, right? So the other thing we talked about with the med student, and I learned by Scott Allen as well, is to start with a boom. Start with a good stat. Start with a good quote. Start with something that catches their attention. Like, what is this lecture? I thought it was just nutrition, So we're going to start with something really interesting to get their attention right away. And then every 7 minutes, you have to do something to re-energize their attention. So there's something Scott Allen calls turn and buzz. So that might be like, ask your neighbor one hard choice they had for breakfast this morning. Ask your neighbor, do they read labels at the grocery store? You ask your neighbor, what do they do when they're tired and don't want to eat good food? You could, or ask them what state they're from. You could just ask them something there's no judgment approach attached to it. Or ask your neighbor a challenge and let them talk for a little bit. And then that way, as a speaker, you get a little break. You get to drink a glass of water, a little sip, get your breath, and regroup a little bit. So that's nice. So those are called turn and buzz. Those you should do every 7 minutes. So if you're giving a 45-minute talk, you should do something where you pause the audience, make them stretch, make them talk to each other, make them point a certain way, make them, just some kind of interaction to grab their attention. Okay, Minto method. We tell them what we're going to tell them. Nutrition's powerful. 3 data points, 3 ideas, and then 3 data points to each idea, A, B, C. Okay, so you can see I really can only have 9 data points and think that anyone's going to remember anything. And I'm talking about patience. Excuse me 1 second. Sorry, it's cold out here. I'm talking about patience, soaking in a lot of information that's a little sciencey, right? So I have to acknowledge that it's hard to soak it all in. Okay, so Minto method. I'm just going to keep saying it because repetition works. Okay, you start with the theme. Nutrition's powerful. 3 ideas under that. And then ABC, 3 data points for each idea. And then you tell them again what you told them. So I'm going to end with nutrition's powerful. And now we know because we saw that data. You might want to also end with a quote or data point, but whatever, different than how you started. So if you started with a data point, end with a quote. Something that just solidifies your message, your theme. Or you can end with your theme. If that's your theme, nutrition is powerful, you could just say that. That's the end. And then they'll feel empowered, right? So you want to plan your presentation on a single piece of paper. Write down the Minto method. If you want to copy, just put copy in the DMs here and I'll send you something. And because it's all in Fresh Path MD, so I'll send you that link. And think about your presentation like a gift to a busy audience. A lot of times we give a presentation, we're scared, we're nervous, and of course that's normal. But we want to also acknowledge that people are busy, they're here for resources. What if you presented it in such a way they can actually remember it? What about that? Wouldn't it be great to leave a lecture and just imagine you're like, oh my gosh, I know what I'm gonna do with my team this week. I know what I'm gonna, I'm gonna redo my nutrition this week or upgrade it. I'm also doing a neuroscience of teams lecture, so I'm thinking of teams. If you lead a team, what to do when there's tension, how to get the values in there, the mission, how to make your roles clear. So can you imagine that life is just slightly easier because you're a bit more informed after that lecture? So start practicing or ideating on your lecture out here on your walk. Think like, what would I want? What would be amazing? And simple is better. I know you see lots of slides that say, oh, I know you can't read this. It's hard to read. Don't be that person. Because what the heck? We're honoring their time, right? So we want to make sure that we're honoring their time and giving them a little gift for attending our lecture. The other thing you might want to consider in the end, put a slide about you and your LinkedIn handle or wherever you are in social. So if people want to tell you, hey, that was a great lecture, I appreciated that. Or ask them to stay in touch, Let me know your favorite thing in this lecture. People like a community, right? Especially if it's your first time doing a national talk. Come on. You want people to get to know you, right? You want people to feel comfortable to approach you with questions. And you'll realize that life is way better when we connect. And it's not weird. It's just if you have any questions, I left my LinkedIn handle there, so please feel free to message me there or whatever, You can do that. Some people, I bet you'll get 3 people that do, or maybe 1. And there you go. You might have a new connection to do a research project with somebody there, or to be on a committee with or something. You just never know where it's going to go. Just keep an open mind. So, and then the other thing at the end of the presentation is you also might want to list your favorite resources that you used to make this presentation. Again, to make it easier for them so they can go right to the information if they want more. Again, it's like a present. You just present it like it's a nice gift with a bow on it, like you were thoughtful. It feels good to be taken care of, right? So the audience will appreciate that you had that all ready for them. Okay, you got this. All right, so join Fresh Path MD. We're going to have a master class on this, so we can jump into this and give you some handouts and some references so you can dive into this. But when you start your talk, do it without a piece of paper. Just think about it. What could it be like for you, okay? So we talked about the 3 things that we need to do to prepare for a talk. Plan away from your computer. Think of the audience. Follow the Minto method. Okay, and then follow me on YouTube. I love to share resources with women docs. And I'm going to go because I'm in Ohio and it's snowy. Okay, thanks for coming, guys. All right, you got this. I believe in you.